Well, Wood?
It is. You know what? You know how I said I was going to run you?
Do it, dude.
Rack him!
Do it, dude.
Rack him!
Oh.
All right, dude. Thanks a lot.
Rack him!
The Woodscopes was a blast. We chopped it up for nearly a half an hour. I enjoyed every second of it. Honestly, I am so happy that he went at me as hard as he did to do it, because I said Friday night, and I'll say it again right now, I should have done that much sooner.
Oh, yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, the authority on America's pastime, jet passing.
Jeff Paston, brother. How you doing?
What's happening, my man?
And don't mind me. I'm eating a hot dog with ketchup on it as we speak.
Oh, I didn't realize I was talking with a 5-year-old. All right.
Anybody listening to Scott Farrell?
I heard a little bit of him on Friday.
That guy is funny, man.
Pharrell on the bench. How you doing, bud?
What's happening? Eventually, after doing all these radio shows like in Miami and with Mancow and all the rest, I was working at Fox Sports Radio doing a national show, and then Howard Stern called and offered me the job. And so when I went there, I just did completely uncensored, the filthiest show you've ever heard in your life. It was the dirtiest thing you've ever even, put your ears on. Because I knew of you because of your fandom with him, and then people started bombarding me, all your fans or whatever, to do your show. So I
Shame
finally
on
thought
you
it
guys.
would just be cool one night to do it because I'm not a dick.
So the Woodscope is tomorrow night, and I'm led to believe that Cruz Pedregon's going to take part.
How about that? Oh, hold on, Cruz. That was amazing.
Is this Cruz Pedregon?
Hey, yeah, this is me. How you doing?
What's up, dude?
Am I on with the scope?
You're on the Woodscopes! Friday night!
Nice. Very nice.
Dude.
And Mikey Francesi.
Michael Francesi, said by police to be a young, tough boss in the mafia. Say Francesi, who is only in his 30s, is the youngest mafia boss in the country and possibly the richest.
Is this Michael Francis?
Hello. That's me. And he said, tonight, Michael Francis, you're born again into a new life, into La Cosa Nostra. Violate this life and what you know about the life, and you're going to die and burn in hell like the saint is burning in your hand.
Oh, my
That's
gosh.
the oath. He said, do you accept? And I said, yes, I do. And that's how it started for me. We figured out a way to defraud the government out of tax on every gallon of gasoline. And I ran an operation for 7 years that wound up selling 500 million gallons of gas a month, and we were taking down 20 to 30 cents in tax money. So, we were generating $10 million a week at one point. So it was a pretty big operation, and I was the architect of it, and I eventually went to prison for it.
Matt in L.A. on the Woodscopes tonight, as well as the lead singer of the Spin Doctors, and D.A. may or may not call the Woodscopes to take that beef to the Woodscopes.
I don't remember asking you who was going to be on the Woodscopes tonight.
That's called a segue, another radio term. I heard you mention Matt in L.A.
I've got a radio term for you. Beat it.
If you guys don't know by now, we have Chris Barron from the lead singer of the you go by Spin Doctors, not the Spin Doctors. I know that there's a debate when you guys were trying to name the band. Is that correct?
That's right. We had a big old fight about it, and I lost.
Is it too much for me to ask for you to do the bit dibby da ba ba da ba ba da ba ba da ba ba? I mean, dude,
How about that?
Our next guest has firsthand experience with the Russian oligarchy. Let's welcome Ben Mesrich.
It, too, is being made into a movie. We're joined by its author, Ben Mesrich. Ben, good morning.
Thank you very much.
You've written about a lot of cool stuff.
Yes, you have.
Hello.
Mr. Ben Mesrich. How you doing, bud?
Good. How are you?
What was
Yeah,
that?
the Facebook story.
Yeah.
I got an email from a college kid, and he was a Harvard senior, and he wrote me an email saying, my best friend founded Facebook and no one's ever heard of him. So, I'd heard of Mark Zuckerberg, but I'd never heard of anybody else.
Right.
And so I went out for a drink, and in walked Eduardo. And if you saw the movie The Social Network, you kind of remember that character. But basically, he just walked in and started the conversation by saying, Mark Zuckerberg fucked me.
Nice.
That's where it
What is up, everybody? It's Friday night. It's the Woodscopes. How's everyone doing? Freaking A, dude. I don't know. You guys have probably seen me bombard you on Twitter this week. Adam of freaking Hawk will be our guest tonight. Before we put him on, Horse, I am going to... before I got some announcements. I got some crazy announcements, but let me get through these really quick. The first thing is there are some shows outside of the Woodscopes and the Jim Rome show and the podcasts and all that, and I just want to mention a few of them. Outlaws and Potatoes with Mock Moda. You guys know that? Do you guys remember Fleets? Press ones if you remember Fleets. I can't see the chat, so I'm going to believe that you guys are pressing one. Mock Moda was the Fleet king, and then yeah, exactly. You get rid of the Fleets, and then all of a sudden he's like, my brand is gone. What do I do now? What do I do? Freaking Spaces comes out, and he comes out with this Outlaws and Potatoes. Now, usually it kind of it competes with something we're doing, whether it's the train wreck or something. That doesn't mean I'm against him. I love Mock Moda. Check out his show. Check out the Haunted Horse, DJ Haunted Horse show on Friday nights.
Haunted Horse.
What? Can you put on your mic for a sec?
Who? You got two guys.
You Haunted Horse.
Oh, okay.
What do you mean I got two guys?
I thought you were going to yell at him for doing a sound drop.
Oh, no, I do the sound drops. I want the sound drops.
What's up?
Jeez Louise. What are your shows and when are they on? Just tell me. Hurry
Go
up.
to HollywoodRejects.com.
Haunted Horse.
Go to HollywoodRejects.com.
I've got the Waterhole Wednesdays. Usually that's with Ryan, but this week at 6 p.m. Pacific, the Waterhole's going to have co-host guest Hestrom Bacon because, Ryan got too big for the show, and he's like, I got to do things with the Kings.
Look at me. I'm big time with Grant Napier.
I don't have time for your little show. And then DJ Haunted Horse is 7 p.m. Pacific most nights, but tomorrow night it's 8 p.m. Pacific because you took my time slot. I'm out.
That's cool. All right, so Ryan in Sacktown, speaking of, I don't know if you guys have noticed what he's been doing. He's been dragging on the coattails of Grant Napier on his shows. Did I say? Oh, I didn't mean it like that. No, Ryan is kicking ass, dude. Ryan is going to be. He's going to be looking down on us little people pretty soon. I'm proud of him. Check out Grant Napier's channel. You could see his live stream anytime after games or whatnot, maybe half times. I don't know, Ryan. If you're in here, throw your links on Twitter. I don't care. And then then we got the Stucknut show. I mean, Stucknut show. You can never
Stucknut Radio.
Not think about Stucknut. Stucknut is the I don't know. Like he should have a nickname. You know, like the king of the JTP or something. I don't know. And then
got that scrub nuts.
With that announcement, we are adding a new person to the Woodscopes team. Headstrom Bacon is now the head. He's the sound dude. We were going to go with engineer, but everyone's already a sound
Headstrom Bacon
engineer.
is in.
Headstrom, what's up, dude?
Hey, what's up? Glad to be on board. Okay, that's it. That's all you get.
All right, cool. All right, and then tonight we got, of course, Adam Hawk.
Weak ass smack someplace sells bacon.
Let's bring in Adam Hawk, because everyone they don't want to hear this stuff. They want to hear Adam Hawk. Adam freaking Hawk is in the house. The king of Nation Golf, the 5-year EP of the greatest sports talk show of all time. Adam, what's up, dude?
What's up, Wood, Horse, Bacon? Good to see you guys. Thanks for having me.
All right. So we got Adam. Adam, we are on Twitch. We are on YouTube. We are on now Twitter Live. Who's on Twitter Live? Horse, are we getting a lot of people on Twitter Live?
None of us are watching Twitter Live right now, so we don't
know. Right, cool. I'm guessing 1,000, maybe 2,000.
10.
No, I'm not Jim Rome. I remember that. Remember when he came on your show?
Okay, so that's going to be brought up for sure because Adam, without the Woodscopes is a little something, and it wouldn't be anything without you, in my opinion. Because listen, you and I, we've been talking ever since my first time sitting in the freaking campsite with my twin brother doing a campfire, and then like the week later, you're like, "What's this Woodscopes? What's your name? Is it 12 Wood? Is that right? Is that what they call you? Is it 12 Wood? Can we talk about it on your show on the Jim Rome show? Hell yeah, you can. Can you tell me just a little bit, because this is selfish. This is only for me. I don't care about anyone watching right now. I want to know, how did the Woodscopes become such a thing?
Well, I think the first person to start periscoping was Jacob in NorCal. You remember that guy from his minivan?
Cobb.
Yeah. Cobb. Yeah. So we, follow Jim's Twitter when I was on the show pretty religiously, just to see what's going on. And we saw that you guys were starting to do live videos, talking to each other, talking about the show. And that's pretty cool. I mean, that's, fans doing content for you. And so we tapped into it. I started, keeping tabs on it. And then I saw that you were doing it and you had some production value to it. And I was like, wow, this is really cool. What's this 12 wood thing? And to be honest, like, I thought 12 wood was some like golf club I'd never heard of. And so I was really interested. And then I found out it was just some pseudo weird nickname for you, so you didn't have to put your real name out on the internet, which is smart, by the way. And then I told Jim, I was like, there's like a legion of fans that just talk about the show and clones and the funny phone calls, and they get pumped for the smack off and they interview each other. We should tap into this and pump this up. Like, there's no reason not to do it. And so we did it. We leaned into it, and your show kind of became like the, proxy for our show. And I think you had every single staff member on, and then it all culminated when Jim decided to go on, which was a really fun and cool night. And yeah, I pushed him into it, but he had to be willing to do it. And he was, and it was super fun. And I'll tell you something funny about that night. Jim and I were texting before he was going on. I forget what time he was scheduled to go on, but we made a funny troll decision to purposely be like 5 minutes late just to freak you out. And I remember you sitting in the chair just like squirming, and we were just texting back and forth like, look at this dude, he thinks you're not going to show. So we had some fun with that. And then he showed, and I think you got like a half hour, 45 minutes, maybe more out of him. And there were thousands of people watching. That was a cool night.
Just so you know, that was the worst 5 minutes of my life.
It was the best 5 minutes of our life, being able to orchestrate that and watch it. But you held your composure. You did good.
Oh, okay. And I was dying.
It. Yeah,
oh,
that was fun. I'm sure you hold that in high regard. I hope you do.
Dude, it's like it's my wedding, and it's with Jim Rome on the Woodscopes. Those are my son being born. There's like 3 things that I could put on my resume. But dude, I'm getting a cramp on my foot right now. You ever get those?
Yeah, not while doing
weird?
a podcast.
No, this is weird. Okay, let's just pain through it, dude. So anyhow, what else was I gonna say about that? Oh, dude, what I remember about that night is during the interview, I told Jim, I said, Jim, has anyone ever run you before? And you're like, right. Oh, I could see the panic, because you texted all of my guys like, don't run him, don't run him. And my whole plan was just to rack him at the end anyhow. But yeah.
I mean, it would have been funny. It would have been a great payoff. I don't know like how well you would have endeared yourself to the guy that took time out of his Friday night if you ran him with his own manual buzzer.
That would have been actually kind of funny, but I'm glad we racked him. Still to this day, it's a great moment. Okay, so freaking Adam Hawk, man. There's so many things to talk to you about. Like we got Nation Golf. We got What Are You Doing Now? I mean, let's just start with I mean, we all know the story of how you got to where you are, and that's usually a topic I talk about. I mean, maybe for the few people, how did you get the job on the Jim Rome briefly?
Yeah, the real quick story is in 2009, I started an internship in Seattle that got me to sports radio. I moved down to Los Angeles, got another internship at a music radio station. NBC Sports Radio launched right down the road from where I was living. I got in there early, helped build that from the ground up. That translated into my first executive producing job for an LA drive time show with like a kind of iconic local television broadcaster. So that was a pretty nice stepping stone for me. And then I got into nationally syndicated radio with JT the Brick, who was the very first Smack Off winner. I worked with him at Fox Sports Radio. And about 2 months into getting that gig, I guess it became apparent that Kyle Brandt was on his way out for Good Morning Football, and so there was going to be a vacancy in the Rome show. And Jim's manager reached out to me. He had gotten my information from someone that I worked with at the LA Drive Time show. And the interview process started. It was an insane thing to be a part of. I couldn't believe that I was being considered for this show that I was a huge fan of since 2005, which I don't go back nearly as far as some of the people on here, but I was an avid listener in 2005 when I started, listening to the show, and then just thought it was the funniest thing ever and was obsessed with Rome is Burning, thought that was the funniest. And so to be getting emails from this guy to come work on his show and, submit content samples, that was pretty crazy. And then to get the call like, hey, you've been hired, super exciting. And then I had to go and tell JT, a very, very good friend of mine, a mentor, a guy that I keep in contact with every single week, to have to tell him just 8 months into our thing that, hey, I'm leaving. And I'm not just leaving, I'm leaving for that guy that you won the smack off with.
Nice.
Yeah. And, he absolutely couldn't fault me. He was like, you need to go take that job. So, so that's how it happened. I mean, that's a, kind of a career summed up to how I got there. But it was just, a lot of hard work and a lot of luck. And whenever I'm working with new people, whether it's in radio or any other business, and they ask me for advice, I just tell them, be the nicest guy in the building, because those are the people that the other people go to bat for when you need a job. So just be likable, be someone that other people want to be around. And it will get you places, and it's worked for me. I've worked super hard, and I do think of myself as a creative person, and a good writer and a good communicator, but it definitely boiled down to bedside manner and fostering relationships. So that's the advice I give to those people.
Very good, dude. I saw I don't remember who the story was written. What
a grande iced Americano for Jim. Grande iced Americano.
Probably about a year ago or so. It was a pretty long interview, and in there you were mentioning that you liked being part of the radio, whether it's Jim Rome or JT or whoever, but there was a sense of some kind of relief that you weren't having to like search for content 24/7 anymore. Is that true?
100%. And to this day, March 10th, 2023, leaving the show was the best decision I've ever made for me, my family, the 6 inches between my ears. It has nothing to do with Jim, the person. It has to do with what the nature of the job is. The job never, ever stops. It's just, it's content. And we introduce social media into it, and all these athletes are now on Twitter, and so much of your content is coming from what they do. I mean, not only are you following games at that point, but now you're following everything that these guys tweet, who they unfollow, who they follow. It's ridiculous. And I watched my kids grow up on the other side of my computer screen, and I had just had enough of that. I lost 5 years of being a dad and being a good husband. And that's because chasing content is relentless. And if you're any good at your job, you have to be as informed, if not more informed than the next guy.
Right.
And I know that I was a, stoner buffoon who didn't know sports on the show, but that does not take away from the fact that I was completely addicted to nonstop Google news feed and Twitter feed and ESPN feed and all that stuff.
Me and Horse were actually talking about that the other day. Like I said a lot of people knew Adam Hawk as this guy who was just like a guy for Jim Rome to clown on, but I'm like, I know this guy is he's driven. He's serious. He's more serious than what most people think. I've had conversations with you, and dude, you are dead serious. I mean, just even like you. I'll give an example. I've told the story 1,000 times. One time I'm at work, and I work like 3 blocks away from my house at this time. and I had customers around me, and I wasn't able to listen to Jim Rome. And I was about to go lunch, and I look at my phone, and I see a text from Adam Hawk, like right in the middle of your show. And it's like, who do you have on tonight? And I was like, wait, why is Adam Hawk texting me during this show? And I text you back. I think that night was Ben Mesrick and Benny and Wisco or something like that. And I sent it to you. I hop in my car, I turn on the radio, and Jim Rome's like, check out the Woodscopes tonight. He's got Ben Mesrick. I'm like, dude, this guy is going 100 miles an hour. Like, you are serious about everything you do. I could tell. Look at this Nation Golf thing you're doing. Let's talk about that for a second. Oh, hold on a second. This hat's getting pretty heavy. Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, yeah. Looking good, my man.
Yeah, I got the Nation Golf visor. I know it's probably blending in with the green screen behind, so I won't wear it too long, but dude,
you look like Brad and Corona.
Brad and Corona. What I want to talk about is, how is Dave and Bria not your number one model for the brand? Are you frozen, or are you like, who's Dave and Bria?
I'm here. Can you see me?
Okay, yeah. You froze for a second.
Dave and Bria might not be our number one model, but he's our number one customer. And
yeah, for sure.
That's not a joke. I could show you the back end of our Shopify, which is what we run our website off of. No one has spent more money in our store than that guy, and we love him for it.
Yeah.
And we've taken care of him. We've sent him a bunch of free stuff, but this is a guy that has like a 40th birthday party and then orders stuff for everyone to be wearing. And he's just,
what a guy,
man. That guy is salt of the earth. Coolest dude.
Right?
Great dad. Great guy. Love that guy. Love him. He's the best. But what's funny is you're wearing that visor, and I think of Brad and Corona, you know, when I see a Rome clone wearing that visor, because he wore that visor, a white one, in his smack off photos when he was like 90% naked. Yep. And this was before I was involved with Nation Golf. And then I got involved with Nation Golf.
I'm wearing it.
And I think a bunch of people started to say, like, there's foul play. Like, these guys know each other. They're in cahoots. And
oh, really? I have never heard that before.
Well, it was really odd because, like, the fact that Brad knew about Nation Golf before I did is crazy, because it's a small business, but it is Southern California and Brad's down here. So he had just found out about it. He had a visor. He happened to wear it for those photos. And then just 1 in a billion chance, I end up becoming a co-owner of that company later on down the road. And then people think like we're in cahoots, you know?
Wait. So when he took that photo, you were not involved with Nation Golf at the time?
No, I wasn't. But when I became involved with Nation Golf, there were some conspiracy theorists that thought,
for sure.
Yeah. And I don't blame him for thinking that, because that is just so weird that would happen that way. But he definitely knew about Nation before I did. He knew, I think he knew my business partner or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And that's why he won too, because he put on the hat. Right.
I mean, again, I don't even think I knew the logo at that time. So that was, I think he won because he told Tyler and Matt that, like, you know, to S is D and kiss is crack or something like that. I think that's
that. Nothing wrong with that on family television.
Right. Nothing wrong with that at 10 in the morning on CBS Sports Radio.
Yeah, right. Oh my God, dude. Okay. So obviously maybe there's 1 or 2 people who don't know what Nation Golf is. It's golf clothing to make you look like you're like in a 60s sitcom, right? I mean, like, it's dope shit. Can I say that?
Appreciate it. Yeah. So it's a golf apparel company that is a celebration of the golden era of golf, 1950s, 1960s, 1980s. We skipped the 70s because that was a terrible era for everyone, fashion-wise. But essentially, if you look at Arnold Palmer, Bob Hope, the Palm Desert, you get the vibe of what we're going for. And we believe that fashion is timeless. Mm-hmm. Meaning it looks as good today as it did back then. And not only, it's not just about the fashion, it's about the way these guys carried themselves. They carried themselves like gentlemen, like peacocks. There was just a different bravado to the golfer of yesteryear. Today, it's It's a clown show out there. They're just caked in logos. They have no personality. They're wearing
right.
polos that are equivalent to like European soccer jerseys. It's horrible to look at. And every time someone wins the Masters and has to put on that green blazer, they just look so stupid. But if you're wearing a pressed hard collar from back in the day, that blazer looks like it belongs on you. So we believe there's this certain style and etiquette where golf just had it down for a couple decades. And I wouldn't say we're bringing it back. We're just trying to remind people of why this is the way, as the Mandalorian would say.
So living where you're at, do you ever just walk around town and see, oh my gosh, there's one of my logos, like?
Yeah, honestly, if I can be totally frank, yes. So when we do see the logo around town, it's really cool and humbling, because I equate doing Nation Golf to being in a band. Like, you start in your garage, no one cares except your friends and family. You get a gig where you're paying the bar to let you be there, and 8 people see you, and then maybe 2 of them like it, but those 2 people tell a few people, and all of a sudden you're playing bigger stages and more people are coming, and then people you've never met are coming, and they're singing the lyrics back at you, and you're like, whoa, this something's happening here, and this is really cool. And for me to go out into Southern California and see the logo, or have someone, and it doesn't happen often. I'm not trying to be some douchebag bragging. I can count on, 2 hands how many times someone has stopped me to talk about Nation. But to hear like, hey, I love the Fellowship show, I love what you guys are doing. Not only is that super cool because we built it, but to be recognized and known for something outside of the Jim Rome show is in a totally different way rewarding, because I would be fooling myself if I thought that everything that didn't come to me those 5 years was because of Jim. Like, the Twitter followers, the being known, all that stuff like that. That's because it's Jim's audience. He built it. It's his. I'm just I'm a lucky bystander who's, in the jet stream of someone very famous who's been doing it for a long time. So I was aware of that the whole time. And that's why it dictated the way that I would present myself online and tweet, because I'm talking to Jim's audience. He earned it, not me. So when it comes to Nation, and it's our own thing, and we built it, and it's our voice, and we can be authentic to who we are, and people recognize it and pick up on it, it's special for sure, because it feels like it's our own thing finally.
That's awesome. Okay, so let's be crystal though. I mean, we know family for you comes first. That's like automatic. Your wife and your kids. You have kids or kid? I think you have 2 now, right? Did we lose each other? Adam Hawk, are you there?
Got you. You said let's be crystal. Something for you comes first. Go ahead.
Your family automatically comes first. I could see that. Like, you got your wife and your kids. I think you have 2 kids, right?
Yep.
Okay. But then right now you got Nation Golf. We know about that. For the people who might be confused on what you might have been just talking about, the TV show you got on Twitter or on YouTube. What is that? What is that? First of all, second of all, are you up to anything else, or is this like this is your pride and joy?
Yeah. So the YouTube show is called The Fellowship, and as you know, as a guy who does the show, like, it's fun to do them. It's fun to get people around and watching and interacting, but it's work. It's work. I know you and Horace and Bacon work at this. Because you don't just like roll out of bed and then do a show. Like, you're hooking up mics, you're sound checking, you're putting up green screens, you had that super cool intro video. All of that is work, and that stuff takes you hours, and it yields like 30 seconds of content that people just forget about. So like, I have a massive amount of respect for you and your team for doing that. We love doing The Fellowship. It's a YouTube show that's also a podcast, but it's best enjoyed on video. It's kind of an homage to Johnny Carson. It's like this late night wood paneled scotch and cigars sit down conversation. Pretty, classy for a bunch of drunk idiots in their 30s. So that's fun. If you're asking, is Nation my only thing? It's not. Nation is not my only thing. I am the editor of a golf magazine, and that's been super fun because I love writing and I feel like that's my best attribute. And so to be able to write and edit for the number one Allied Golf Association magazine in the country has been awesome. And on top of it, it's a 9 to 5. So healthcare and bennies for a wife and 2 kids, which you need.
Right.
You know, I don't like saying nation's a side hustle because there's nothing side hustle about something that you're working on 40 hours a week, but it's 40 hours in addition to another 40 hours. So I'm busier than I've ever been, but I'm happier than I've ever been. And my stress level and anxiety has just completely subsided since July of 2021.
Jeez. Okay, I didn't know this, and forgive me for that because I've been in contact with you a few times since you left the Jim Rome show. But okay, so you're doing, dude, that's rad. I'm gonna check that out. Is there a big, huge conspiracy? Are we losing each other again? I think we lost.
It might be his Wi-Fi extender.
Yeah. we'll be paid.
He's coming in and out.
Anyhow, if you guys get a chance, people watching this right now, if you could go out there and just click the share button. Go on you're on Twitter already. Retweet this. If you're on YouTube, if you're on Twitch, just do a little quick share if you could. Adam, you with us again?
Yeah, I'm with you, and I apologize. I'm out in my bunker, my garage. I got to get away from 2 loud kids, or else this wouldn't be possible. So, and I'm on a Wi-Fi extender. So here's the thing: if it freezes up again, I will.
Should I just call you? We'll do a voice.
Sure. That would be great if it happens again. Hopefully it doesn't happen again. But if
I'll just stick my phone up to the mic here.
I'll just move I'll just go sit in my car in the driveway, honestly, with my computer. I will do that. So if it happens again, just give me 2 minutes to go get into a different location.
I was asking about, what was I asking about? Horse, you remember?
Sorry, I was trying to figure out the Wi-Fi. I was trying to come up. He came up with the same solution I was thinking. If he could just move closer to the thing, if it happens again. I did not hear the question. I apologize.
I thought you were gonna hop in your car and drive over there and help him out. Like I could see Horse standing behind you, like hooking up wires and stuff.
I'd love to hang out with Horse. He met my parents, but I haven't met him.
Yeah, Horse is a great guy,
dude.
He's a great guy. I was asking. Okay, I didn't know that about your golf thing. You're writing for the golf magazine. That's really cool. I apologize because I should know that and I didn't.
No, hey, 12 Wood. No apology needed. The reason you don't know it is because last year I nuked Twitter, nuked Instagram, nuked LinkedIn, and I just tried to get as offline as possible, and just keep things to me. So that's why you don't know.
Okay, so the big question behind that, play the conspiracy music if you can, Bacon. I don't know if he has it. Let's just pretend he does. There it is. What's the reason behind the nuking all that stuff?
I mean, if we're going to be honest here, and man, this would be a really sad time to cut out. So I need you to make like some constant movement, 12 Wood, so I know that like I'm not frozen.
Like,
there you go.
How you like that?
Maybe not so aggressive.
Okay.
Look, I haven't talked about this with anybody, and I feel like, throwing an anxiety card out there is, a lot of people do it these days, blah, blah, blah. But honestly, like coming off of the show, I did have a lot of anxiety, and I think that it was repressed just because there was no time to really feel that feeling because the show was 24/7 and just go, go, go.
Yeah.
But just having to keep up with so much and have so much information going in and out of my head every single day and feeling like I was constantly behind on everything, it all weighed on me. And then to be away from the show and to feel like I had this breath of fresh air, but I'm still tied to my phone, and everything on Twitter is either depressing or it's serving some narcissistic angle where I'm like checking in to see if people are still like thinking about me. There's just like, there was some ego that needed to die and there was some anxiety that needed to go away. And so I just was like, I'm finding no joy from being on my phone. It's taking up a ton of time.
Yeah.
Not making me a better person. It's not making me a better family man. It's serving parts of my personality that I don't want to serve anymore and I don't want to fuel anymore. And so I got off of it for that reason. And I didn't want to do some dumb, sappy posts like, I will be leaving Twitter because blah, blah, blah. Like, who cares? Just get off if you're going to get off. And so that's what I did. And I never looked back. I didn't make some like weird sleuthy return. I'm out. And it's great. Not have to see like clips of First Take and to not have to read about politics and to not have to see how many notifications I have. It's been awesome. And I did that with Instagram too. And I just felt like I was putting out too much information about myself and my family. And I don't know, I just got like, I just didn't want it anymore. And so I got rid of it and haven't come back to it. Don't think I ever will. I don't need to. And yeah, I mean, to be completely honest, like I've been in therapy for the last 4 months, talking to a professional about anxiety, adult ADHD. My wife and I went to couples counseling, not because we had problems, but we wanted to be proactive. I didn't want to be in a marriage where it's like you're just turned into roommates and your kids, they grow up and that's all you concentrate on. Then they're gone and you realize you haven't talked in 18 years because you were too focused on your work and too focused on the kids. So like this whole leaving Twitter and leaving social media thing, it's part of this like holistic, just like reprioritization of my life. And that's all I can boil it down to is I have just made a very concerted effort to reprioritize my life and put my family first in everything that I'm doing.
Dude, I commend you for that. I really do. Twitter is it's a soul sucker, man. You go on there for 5 minutes, all of a sudden you're angry you weren't even angry before you turned it on. And you're scrolling through and you're like, what are they're drinking baby's blood now? Oh my gosh. It's just like, yeah, it's a crazy world we're living in. And getting away from that, I am not on Twitter. Like back in my early Jim Rome hopping in head first days, I was on Twitter. Like right now I go on there and I see people out there. It doesn't matter what time I check into Twitter, I see the same 5 or 6 people. And it's like, do you guys ever sleep? Are you on Twitter 24/7? Get a life. But they might be watching this, so I'm not talking about any of you guys at all. Wink, wink.
We're happy you're on Twitter right now.
Yeah, right now you are. That's a great place to be. Another big question I had for you is, do you still listen to the Jim Rome Show ever?
In all honesty, I do not listen to the show. And I mean that as no disrespect to Jim or the crew. I don't. The bit about me not liking sports wasn't a bit. I haven't watched an NBA game in 18 months. I barely know who played in the Super Bowl this year. I aggressively avoid the NFL. The only thing I watch is golf, the Mariners, and Grand Slam tennis. And I watch it on when I want to. And I miss that about sports, like having it be this thing that you go to when you want it. And everyone listening who's like, oh, working in sports is a dream job. It is, but at the same time, it's a job. And when anything is your job, you get sick of it. And when you're sitting in a studio and it's March and you're listening to people like rate their 7 top quarterbacks in the NFC, and then you look up to the left and 4 grown men are in suits and ties screaming and yelling about 18-year-olds and where they're going to get picked, it just makes you want to punch yourself in the face. And so I have had a complete exorcism of sports. And I have listened to 2 Jim Rome shows since I left. Yeah. And I will listen to these 2 shows every year. And that's the Smack Off. Shout out to my boy Caleb in Green Bay. So glad you got it done. Right. And the Year in Review, because that's like all the funny moments and clone phone calls boiled down. So Smack Off and Year in Review, I will be listening to those till the day I die. But me like getting away from the Daily Show is less about the Rome show and more about sports in general.
I do. Me and you are a lot alike in that. I sometimes wonder, how did I ever get into this Jim Rome show? I hate sports. I don't hate sports. I like the Packers. I like the Royals. I like the Huskers. Bro, I could give two shits if there's a basketball game on and everyone's like, oh, I was telling Ryan and Sack. Do you know Ryan in Sacktown? He's
I think Ryan in Sacktown, if my memory serves me correctly, he sat down with Jim during a remote in Sacramento.
You got it. Yeah,
I met him.
He's on fire, man. He's working with Grant Napier on the daily. He's doing a really good job. But that guy knows everything about everything, and it impresses the hell out of me. I could never do that. I lose interest. Like when the Royals are on, you probably know this as a Mariners fan. When the Royals are on, if it's like April 15th and they're still in the race, I'm shocked. And then I lose interest if they're like, if it's usually like May 15th, I'm like, nah, I'll watch next year. Maybe they'll have a better year. I'm just not a good sports fan. I just don't know how I got into the Jim Rome show, and I don't listen to sports. I don't watch sports. I watch Packers, and that's about it. So you and I are a lot alike in that area.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing with Ryan, and good for him, man. If he's following his passion, that's super cool. And if he knows everything, that's great. I'm at kind of a loss for like what knowing everything gets you these days, because there's 10 billion shows when you combine terrestrial radio, satellite radio, podcast, TV.
Mm-hmm.
Like the space is so overcrowded. I feel like in 2023, trying to be the next Jim Rome or Colin Cowherd, like that ship sailed. It takes a special human being like a Pat McAfee to kind of break the mold. And I mean, he's one of one, and maybe you could look at Barstool and Pardon My Take, but it's really hard to cut through the clutter. So
right.
Best of luck to Ryan. I'm not telling him not to do it. I'm just like, I don't know. It's not for me. I feel like the deck is stacked against anyone trying to like break into sports as some like knowledgeable analyst,
Agree. And I know Ryan, we talk often, and I'm like, I know the guy is just, he does it because he's passionate about it. And I'm like, good for you. But if it was I don't know. It's like you. If you could just talk about your favorite golfers or something, I'm sure you'd have more interest in that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But do you keep in contact with any of the clones?
Keep in contact is kind of a loose word. Like I've traded texts with Rex in Albuquerque a few times since leaving. You and I have talked a few times since I've left. Jeff, what did he used to go by? Jeff in SoCal.
Yeah.
Love that guy.
Yeah.
He became a friend because he came out to both marathons and like cheered me on. So, I just found him to be just this hilarious troll that was always looking to get run. I felt like he really got what the show was about.
Yeah.
Johnny Scabs will hit me up once in a while.
Okay.
Let's see. Anybody else? Boy, if I'm forgetting anyone that's listening right now, I apologize. But I feel like if I was still on Twitter and checking my DMs, it would be a different story. There's not a ton of clones that have my phone number. There's maybe like a dozen or so. So yeah. And then, I'll hear from Margot from Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
She leaves YouTube comments on our videos and she hits us up on Instagram, which is cool. I'm always happy to hear from someone from the Rome show, because I don't think anyone's hunting me down to say like, you suck, I'm glad you're gone, because you would just not hit me up to say that. You would just be glad that I'm gone. So most
they're
people
out there though. They're out there. They are. They're out.
Of course. Yeah. Of course. And hey, we share the same sentiment. I'm glad I'm gone too. But yeah, the ones that I still talk to are great. And I'm not lying when I say like I feel like I had a different kind of relationship with the clones than any other executive producer. And I'm proud of it. And I really appreciated what they brought to the show.
I'm going to double down on that. You and I kind of were into this show at about the same time. I was shortly after you were hired out. That's when I started jumping. It was me and a couple of my buddies just talking about our, how we like to listen to the Jim Rome show, and none of us listen to it regularly. And one day I was like, let's just see if any of us could get a tweet. And I sent a tweet and it got read like instantly. And I was like, oh my, I was hooked at that moment because it's like a drug for me. I was like, I heard my name on national radio. There's a buzz the first few times you do that. But yeah, and then a lot of people, Adam, have said this, and I'm not just saying this to, boost your ego because you're my guest on the Woodscopes, dude. I've heard a lot of people say this. The era of Adam Hawk's Jim Rome show was the absolute best for the JTP. And that is no knock on Tom or KB, but you just hit it. You were involved. You know how to include us. It was, we already went over it. The Woodscopes. Woodscopes would be nothing if it wasn't for Adam Hawk bringing it to Jim Rome. And I always give you a lot of credit for that. I'm still doing this shit. Sometimes it's like the mafia. I try to get out and it just reels me back in.
Yeah.
But dude, yeah, I guess to follow up that question, like I said, there's nothing against Tom. Do you ever talk to any of the XR4TI guys like Tom or anything like that?
Alvin will remain one of my best friends forever. He is just ridiculously lovable, and right. He is so loyal. He's just a good guy. And as a fellow dad, like him and I bond on a lot of stuff. So I talk to Alvin. We check in probably once every 3 months. And when we do, it's for hours at a time.
Yeah.
He's got a long commute. I do too. So we do. I talk to James Kelly once a month. So more frequently than Alvin. I love James. James and I were super tight when I was working on the show, and we both have very similar backgrounds. And I'm a huge James Kelly guy. I love that guy.
Yeah.
And big head. Yeah. I talked to Keith Arnold a lot. I talked to Keith yesterday. I don't really talk to Rit that much.
He's not with the show anymore, right?
I do. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you knew that.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
I know.
Yeah. And then who else? So
Huff?
No, I don't really talk to Huff anymore, but he's super busy and super successful. Yeah. So stoked for him. Jay Stu will trade like a phone call once every couple of years. I never worked with him, but we've crossed paths many a times and share kind of a similar sense of humor, and he loves the clones like I do. And then as far as Tom goes, so Tom came in for his first 2 weeks for my last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So I took it upon myself to be like, I need to leave this guy as many, breadcrumbs as I possibly can. I want to cut this guy's learning curve in half, because I told Jim when I told him I was going to leave the show that I have an immense amount of respect for him and the show. And so I was going to stay on and really put my all into training my replacement. And I felt like that was the right thing to do. And so Tom and I bonded for those 2 weeks. My last day was Smack Off 26 or 7. I don't know, whatever one was in 2021. And Tom was there for that. And Tom and I will trade texts here and there. More so when he was first starting out, him kind of asking me like, what's up with this? What's up with that? And I was super excited to answer those texts because I knew that I could just push him along the way and help him avoid some pitfalls. And so that was cool. But yeah, now Tom and I mean, maybe, I don't know, once or twice a year, we'll say what's up.
That's cool. I mean, the question that I had about like that is, did you? I actually have nothing to do with that. I was just thinking of this question, and I was like, when you think I'm gonna ask, when you hear the song "Memories" playing in your head, and you're thinking about the Jim Rome show, what are those memories? Like, what are those big moments that like, yeah, that was it. That like, I was, yeah. When you have to tell people your greatest moments on the Jim Rome show, what are they?
Romageddon is right near the top. That was just the most fun thing ever. He launched that first podcast and we were like, how do we get this thing to number one? Well, let's go re-energize like the most fervent fan base out there and bribe them along the way. Like top 25, you're going to get Bum Smack. Top 10, you're going to get Rat Family. Top 5, you're going to get personal appearance. And if you get us to number one, we'll play the Toby and Houston call. And like, we thought that this would go out for like it would, you know, take a week, but the clones got him to number one, like within, I don't know, 24 hours of us bribing them. And it was such a cool feeling to achieve that goal. And then it was such a fun payoff to be sitting in a studio in like, I don't know, 2017, 2018, and just like listening to the stuff that used to be said in the 90s that couldn't be said anymore. That was super fun. All the smack offs were great. You know, being in the studio when Left stormed it with all the legends was awesome. Getting Jim on your show was cool. Going to all the Super Bowls was really fun. Kyle, Brandt, Jim, and I had a really nice dinner in Minnesota. That's a highlight. Sitting courtside with Jim at the Sacramento Kings game was cool. One of my favorite things was when Silk announced that he was running for city council, and then we got to like milk that for 6 months. And I have never followed a local city's election so hard. I was glued to it. I was the beat reporter on that one. And then for Tito Ortiz to jump in there and just give us the greatest content ever and slur his speeches when he's trying to get inducted. I love that stuff, man. Like I didn't go there for the box scores or for the trades or the draft picks. Like I went there because I'm like, who's fucking up right now and how can we make fun of it? And I love that. And then it's like, what clone is on fire right now? Like what's Rex got? What's Scabs got? What's Left got? What's Jeff and SoCal got? Like that's the stuff that I my whole radio producing thing was like, let's do oh shit moments. Let's do moments where people can't get out of their car to go back to work or get into a doctor's appointment because we're making them laugh so hard. That's all I wanted to do. That's all I wanted to do.
You brought the content, and again, it's and this is my opinion and many other people's opinion. Again, no knock on Tom and the guys currently there at all, but you are my favorite by far.
Thank you,
you connected what shouldn't have been connected.
A grande iced Americano for Jim. Grande iced
lowly little
Americano.
peon scum JTP guys with the greatest talk show sports guy. You know, and it was great, man. I mean,
listen, what I appreciate you saying that, I really do. But let me say this. All I was, and you used the word, I was just a connector. We had like arguably the greatest guy to ever get on a microphone on sports talk radio, the voice, the takes, the cadence, the pauses, the smack. And then we just had an army of hilarious content creators. And I'm sitting in the middle of it being like, this is the marriage right here. This is the marriage.
Yeah.
Jim feigning disgust with how funny his audience is. Like, let's do this for 3 hours. So the only credit I get is handing emails and putting calls forward. Like, I'm not the funny guy on the other end of it. Like, this was a wonderful tennis match, and I was just the net. That's it.
I get what you're saying. Okay, but my point is, yes, Jim. I mean, if you go back to ask any clone who listened to Jim Rome in his first 10 years will know that he involved part of his brand is involving his listeners. There's no denying that. But those few years you were there, it was different. It was you were on the Woodscopes. I can't tell you how many times I called you up randomly one night. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I was in Huntington Beach. I picked up the phone call. I think like we were feeding our kid or putting her down. And then I was like,
Yeah, I was like,
sorry, honey, 12 Wood is calling. And she is just like shaking her head. What the hell? Who's 12 Wood? And I'm like, I'll be back.
I'm sitting here just about to end the show and I'm reading the comments. I'm like, I'm gonna end the show unless you guys have anything you want to do. And I don't remember who it was. This call Adam. That turned in like 20 minutes of debate. Like, do I do it? I had people calling in. We were doing like, dude, even Marty and NoCal's calling. Like everyone's calling me. Yeah. What? No, my brother calls me. Everyone's calling me. Like, dude, you just call him. And some people were like, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. And all of a sudden I was like, screw it. It's for the content. And you answered, dude. It was cool. And then there's the time when Nooch was doing a Periscope, and he was kind of new at the Periscope, and I called you, and I was like, call Nooch right now. And you called Nooch, like his eyes just like lit up, like, who am I talking to? And you're like, nice call today. Like you hung up just as he realized who you were.
That's awesome.
I had it, but that's what I'm talking about. The connection you had with us clones was freaking cool, you know? And yeah, dude, thank you for that. I mean, like I said,
you guys are funny and nice, and that's the combo right there. I don't need anything more than that. Funny, nice. You showed up every day for our show. The show would have been a lot more stagnant without you guys. It would have felt like doing it in a vacuum. And I think a lot of shows are like that. You show up, you do the show as a host, you're looking at your board op, you're looking at your phone screener and your producer. But when you do a show like that, you feel like there's this audience who's in the room with you because Twitter's blowing up, the phones are lighting up, emails lighting up. It feels like you're in an amphitheater. It feels like all your friends and family are right there with you. And that was a joy. And that was something I never experienced in radio up until that point. So, not to belabor it, to me, there was no choice. It was like, I'm going to engage and encourage the clones because they are damn good at what they do. And nothing's getting weird, nothing's getting over the line. Like I'm not feeling like I'm being taken advantage of. So let's have a good relationship here. And I feel like the relationship was built on mutual trust and mutual respect. Like, hey, I'm not going to call 10 times in a row and expect this guy to get me on because he got me on, earlier this week, or I'm not going to just hammer him with emails and cry about it when I don't get it on. It was like, the show's the show.
Yeah.
Jim comes first. The bigger, broader audience comes second. The clones come third, but coming third is better than not at all. Right. And so like, I was there to try to make sure that we had that lined up.
That's rad. You brought up something earlier, and I don't know if we were live when you brought this up or if I brought it up. Yeah, I think it was before we were live on this show, and I said something about like the time when that 12-wood guy reached out to Jim Rome's kid. Dude, you called me up on my cell phone one day, and I was like, Adam's calling me. Why is he calling me? Like, did you call Jim Rome's kid? I'm like, no, I got him on Instagram, but yeah, it did happen. What
we all make mistakes. We all make that call or that text that we shouldn't make. I feel like, everyone is entitled to make a mistake once. Just don't make the same mistake twice. And I don't think you're hitting them up again. Yeah. So yeah, probably not your best move there, 12 Wood, but I mean, shoot your shot, I guess. I just wouldn't hit up the host family for Periscope shows. That's I don't know.
What's wrong with that. I mean, Jake Rome was a huge topic in the jungle. He's 18 years old. He's going to a school in my home state. I'm like, I just want to say hi. I just get him on the show. But yeah, you are 100,000%. Don't talk to the host kids. But yeah.
Well, here's the way to do it in another life. In another life. Let's say you're in good with Jim because he did your show and he reads your tweets and he promotes the Woodscopes, and you're in good with me because we're pals and we've done stuff together. The move is to hit me up and say, can you ask Jim if Jim can do it? And that's how you channel that one. You don't jump over 3 rungs of the ladder and expect not to fall on your ass,
Yeah, and that's good advice. I did do that one time. I don't know if you remember this. Hey, Adam, 12 Wood here. Hey, I got a chance to interview Jim Everett. What do you think? I'm going to hang up now, is what you say.
Yeah, there are some things I just don't want to know because it's not my position to tell anyone what to do. You don't work for the show. You don't pull a paycheck. I'm not your boss. But at the same time, I can't be affiliated or know or be privy to any of this stuff. And I can't tell you how many times like smack off callers would call in like months before the event and run an idea by us like, hey, I want to get this person or I want to do this. And it's like, click, don't tell me because then I'm going to have to surface this to someone. You're not going to make it on air. You're going to blame me because you were dumb enough to bring a really dumb idea to me. Like, it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission, but it's better to be smart than to do dumb stuff. And unfortunately, there were some idiots who had really bad ideas and they decided, hey, this bad idea I think it's good, so I'm going to run it by the producer. And it's like, why did you just put that in my head? You can't
examples?
Make
any other examples?
I'm not going to give any examples, but
oh, come on.
I'm not going to be an accomplice to something that's not good for the show or not good for Jim.
I hear you.
You know?
No, but I'm glad you gave me the advice about Jim Everett because about 2 seconds after you said you were going to hang up, I was like, I think Adam's trying to tell me something, dude. Maybe I shouldn't have Jim Everett on, and I didn't. I ignored the next DM that we had, and he was entertaining it, dude. And I was like,
he was. He's what is he doing? Of course he's going to come on the Woodscopes. That'd be his biggest break in 25 years.
Come on, dude. Dude. Okay, so we got Bacon and Horse sitting here waiting to just either do a sound drop or throw. Oh, Bacon or Horse is already throwing stuff up there. But I also gave them a task of maybe reading some of the comments because I'm horrible at that. Anyone have any good?
How can you see with those pit vipers on, dude?
Bro, how do you not live without the pit vipers, bro? I got the bow tie on.
Yeah, no, you look good, and you're buttoned up, and you got the nation. My friend is a spokesperson for Pit Viper. I wouldn't wear them, but they look good on you.
Well, of course. I mean, they're Pit Vipers, so they look good on everyone. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Your friend needs to send you about 5 pairs, and then you can send me 3 of them.
Okay. Well, I'd send you all 5 if he sent me 5.
Nice. Any good questions for Adam Hawk? And Adam, if we could do the phones, would you take any phone calls?
100%.
Nice. Horse, okay, that's on you, bro.
Tyler in Oshkosh asks, how do we get to read Hawk's work? Now, you mentioned that in you're writing for Golf. Is it Golf Digest or what?
I'm not writing for Golf Digest. I'm writing for, and listen, if I put this out there, like this is a real deal gig. Like this ain't the Jim Rome show. So
maybe just say you're working with a golf magazine. If
Tyler, if you're really interested, and I appreciate it, go to @NationGolf.
There you go.
On Instagram, send me a DM, and I'll point you in that direction. And again, look, I know I just got off this whole spiel about respect and trust and mutual adoration for the clones, and that's true. But there's always, the one or two people that you just got to kind of guard against,
Yep.
And I'm not saying that's Tyler. I'm saying I don't know who all is watching this.
Right.
There's a lot of good comments on here. Hitman Canadian says, looking good, Hawk. Hope life post jungle is going great. Bella B says, tell Hawk he is missed. Jim Benton says, needless to say, Hawk was one of the best writers on the Jim Rome show. Hitman Canadian wants to know, are you still doing marathons?
What up, Hitman? And thank you, Jim and Bella, for the comments. I miss reading Hitman's tweets, man. They were so funny.
Yeah.
He was one of the best. But no, I have not done a marathon since 2020. And I just cannot psych myself up or motivate myself to do the training required for it. It's too much for me right now. I actually took the 26.2 sticker off of my car because I became so embarrassed by the conversations it would start. Like, you ran a marathon? It wasn't you ran a marathon, it was you, because once you get Jim Rome out of your life, you start to and I don't mean Jim Rome the person, the Jim Rome show.
Yeah.
You get a little drunk on freedom, you get a little drunk on scotch, you get a little drunk on steak. you get a little fat. And I not gonna lie, I let myself go a bit, and I don't know if I could run 3 miles right now. So I took that sticker off because I was embarrassed of the conversations. Yeah. But that being said, folks, back on keto. Thank you for that drop. Back on keto, down 15.
Nice.
Got 15 more to go, and then we'll be pounding the pavement again with some running shoes that I bought off of Amazon after stiffing a salesperson.
Nice. Just staying on brand. Just in case, right? Just in case anyone ever asked you. You bought those from a knockout, or you ripped some guy off of those for those shoes, right?
I went through a whole spiel at a running shoe store and got sized up, hit the treadmill, saw the video, like took a picture of the shoe box, and then went home and just bought it for like $40 cheaper on Amazon, like a complete prick. And guess who's a small business owner now and would absolutely hate it if someone did it to them? This guy. Life comes full circle, people.
I kept my tags on here just so you know.
No, send it back, full refund.
Frank in Boise wants to ask, and as you all know, Frank in Boise is Mark Moda. Frank wants to know, has he gotten any new tattoos?
I don't know. Like I've gotten at least 2 since I left the show. None of which I'm going to show because it would require losing multiple layers, but and they were all from Matty Higgins, who did the cat tattoo. He's done every tattoo on me since. I think he's done 15 on me since the cat tattoo. One of the more recent ones was a skull and crossbones, but the crossbones were made of golf clubs, and the skull is smoking a cigar and wearing a nation visor like 12 Woods.
Nice.
And it says "Live slow, die old" instead of "Live fast, die young." Because I don't know why people want to live fast and die young. I want to live slow and die old, and so I got that tattooed onto me.
We got Margot on the phone. Ready for her?
Did you give out the phone line? How'd you do that?
I put it up above your head.
I was just about to say, dude, put the phone. Okay, cool.
You ready for Margot? Okay, I'm muting.
Hello.
Margot, you're on with Adam Hawk.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. How are you? Good to see
Oh, I'm
you.
great. I'm in my freezing cold
Adam,
garage
I
talking
need
to
to
12
know,
Wood and
when
Horse.
are you going to put out a ladies golf line?
Oh, did she ask what I think? She asked if Nation's going to do ladies' clothes.
Ladies, yep.
Not in the foreseeable future, and that's nothing against women. We would love to get into that, but the nice thing about making clothes for guys, there's 6 sizes: small, medium, large, XL, XXX, XXX. That's it. Guys are so easy. We all like fit the same, except a few like blobs and weirdos. But women, God bless them, the fairer sex, they, it's a more complex fit. It's a more complex body. And the research and development and sampling that would take is just something we are not prepared to do at this point, Margot.
She either dropped my fault or she hung up. I don't know if she didn't like the answer.
That's good. Now, are you? Do we have anyone else on the line, or
I can only take one call at a time. The line is open now.
You got 6 line 6. Put line 6 on for Adam.
Or you can DM me and I can get you a Zoom link. We can get you on the audio on Zoom.
There you go.
Wow. Shout out to Horse. What a technician. Alvin DeLoro doesn't know how to do this stuff.
I was doing the Woodscopes first time in many, many months on Smack Off night, and I thought I was just gonna do this by myself, and I had Steve Stucknut on, and 2 seconds into it, I knew it was gonna be bad because our voices were, and I said as best I could to anyone who was watching. I'm like, sorry guys, show's over, and then I stopped the show. I get a DM or text message from Horst, and he's like, I could have your show up in 5 minutes. I was like, let's do it. So he had it on, and I was like, dude, this is my guy. He's my guy for life.
Love it.
We got a question from @JBays, and he's watching on Twitter Live. He says, will Hawk be going to the Masters this year?
Should I dox JBays? Because I know who that is.
Go ahead.
No, I won't. Jay Bays, a great nation supporter. No, I'm not going to the Masters. You got to win a lottery for that. I will not be at the Masters. No, but I will be at the Indian Wells member guest playing out there for 5 days. And then I will be at the Nation Desert Classic in May. So a lot of good golf coming up.
I got Oshkosh Tyler on the line. Real quick, since you talked about it, I turned down free Masters tickets when I was in the Army at Fort Gordon. Some people saw me in my uniform and go, "Hey, soldier, you want to go to the Masters?" And I'm like, I'm 18 years old. I'm like, "No, I'm good," and I'm an idiot. So
good call.
That.
Oh my gosh,
good call.
I really want to touch myself. All right, here comes Tyler. That wasn't me, Hawk. Hold
on.
That's
before
bacon.
you put Tyler on.
That's bacon.
Hawk, I know he's going to ask you if you know what the 12 by 12. Just go ahead, put him on. Put him
All right,
on.
Tyler, you're on with Adam Hawk.
Hey, Hawk, what's going on?
You're still there?
See you there? It's weird. Like can you hear me?
Yeah,
I can hear you. I'm doing good, and this is what's going on, and I'm going to spare everyone that answer just so we don't talk over
Hawk,
each other.
I just DM'd you on Golf Nation. I want to know what column.
Your cell phone blows.
Okay.
Hello? Hello?
Wait, we got a new caller? Oh, no, it sounds like Perry Larry.
It's Perry Larry, but I can't really.
We kicked Larry. We kicked Tyler off for Perry Larry. This should be good.
I cannot hear you.
Thank God.
Let's try again.
Sorry, guys. The caller. So apparently there's caller ID on this line, and I didn't know that. So he dropped him.
All right. Is the phone not working?
Ruined it for everybody.
Let me say this real quick. I know there's a lot of voices and drops, and God, I love chaos. But Tyler, I will respond to you in the DMs here very shortly. Thank you for reaching out. Sorry the call didn't work out, but appreciate you being interested in what else I'm doing, and I'll get in touch with you real soon.
And Larry was probably going to sing you a song, so I'll just I'll do that for him. Do.
So right. I'm going to kill the phone line.
Yeah, kill the phone line.
Yeah, because unfortunately I've got 20 people calling in all over each other. So if you want to talk to Adam Hawk, DM me on Twitter, and I will get you in via Zoom, and you can do audio only, and you can ask your question.
Cool. Hey, Bacon, Horse, anyone else have any comments or questions for Adam Hawk?
How are his parents doing?
How are your parents doing?
They're doing great. They ask about you all the time, Horse. They're like, man, we took this great trip to Portland. We met this guy named Haunted Horse, and we just want to know, what's he doing? And I'm like, I'm sorry, guys. I don't work for the show anymore, but when I talk to him, I'll ask him. They're doing great. They're very, very, very happy grandparents who wish that I lived in Seattle and not Southern California.
I bet. Yeah, so they were at I don't think you even know this, Hawk. When they were there, we had local DJs and stuff from 750 The Fan, and, everyone was at the watch party. Your parents, everyone wanted pictures with your parents. They didn't want it with the local hosts and everything else. They wanted to take pictures with your parents. So they put them up against the 750 screen, and there was a line, and people got up and got their pictures taken with your parents. It was great.
That, again, just goes to show you how awesome the clones are. My parents, they still talk about that day. They do. And you guys made them feel really special. And my dad is the ultimate showman and the ultimate egomaniac narcissist. So he probably loved that. He was probably sad it was only a 3-hour show.
Yeah, he was eating it up. Yep.
Yeah, of course he was.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Any others?
Edstrom, you got something?
No, just some comments. I think I don't know if I mentioned Sean on YouTube said, "Would please tell Adam how much love he has in the comments and the chats." Yeah, the chat's been on fire, Adam, and people are just the love is flowing.
Bittersweet Marie says, "Please, can you tell Adam it's great to see him and he looks amazing." The smiley face with the hearts and the eyes emoji. Thanks, 12 Wood.
You're welcome.
Guys, honestly, I mean this sincerely. Like, I wanted to do this tonight because I love 12 Wood, and he is just the nicest, coolest dude. I know his real name. I know about his wife and kid, and so he's a genuine friend. Horse, love you, man. You were great to my parents. You're awesome on Twitter. I loved your content. Headstrom, I mean, Stucknut guy, so he's the best, and he's a great technical producer. And I listened to the Smack Off After Show this year, so I was super excited to hang out with you three. But I was very excited to be back with old company and with people that I really do love, respect, and miss. So this is great. So I appreciate all the love. Know that it is mutual, and I don't want to burn this person per se, but I was kind of offended when a certain former producer came back as a fill-in host for Jim Rome. And like the first thing he said was, this is like rolling into like an old stinky bar and seeing guys from high school you didn't ever want to see again. And I was thinking like, man, dude, like that is a really dick thing to say to a very loyal fan base who's been excited for your success and is excited that you're back co-hosting, or I'm sorry, guest hosting. And yeah, that rubbed me the wrong way. And that's not at all how I feel. It's quite the opposite. I would come back and hang out with you guys anytime. So I appreciate the invite and the love.
Wow. I didn't. Hey, I'm sure everyone was like, who was it? Who was it? Let's just, yeah, I'm not going to ask you. Obviously, if you wanted to tell us, you would have told us. I'm sure 80% of the people know. I haven't figured it out, but someone will tell me.
Hey,
wow,
12 would, Tyler didn't get his 12 by 12 question in.
Yeah. Do you want to ask him? Yeah, is he on the? Oh, he's not on the phone. Do you know what the 12 by 12 is, Adam? He wants to. I'm sure he wants to ask you. Tyler is he created this? He created this thing called the 12 by 12 challenge, and what you do is you eat 12 tacos and drink 12 beers, and you see how fast you could do it. Do you want to do it with him?
No, not at all. I don't want to watch anyone do it. I don't want to do it. I can just assume this results in massive throwing up at the end, and none of that sounds appealing at all. Thank you, Tyler. I'm 35, not 18, so I'll pass. Thank you.
It's funny. Yeah, I'm surrounded by guys who like to do that content. I'll never do it. First of all, I don't even drink anymore, but
hey, congrats.
Yeah. Well, it's I'm just doing it to support a friend of mine, who quit drinking. I'm like, I'm going to do it too. I don't really drink that much. I drink on the Woodscopes. I drink like 2 beers, and that was about it usually. But yeah, so
I love a little solidarity. Hey, 12 Wood, I'll drink to that.
I'm drinking the bubbler. That's caffeine.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, and lastly, when Mock Moda had a show pre our show, he was an hour out. When I went on there briefly, he wanted to. Is Adam frozen? There he is. Mark Moda, they had a contest to see what Adam was going to wear on his head. I was the only one to guess no hat. There was a visor guess. There were 2 ball cap guesses. I guessed no hat. So thank you for showing up without a hat.
Dude, I'm telling you.
Haunted Horse, there's a rule that every dad should tell their kid. You never wear a hat indoors, ever. It's a country club rule. It's a life rule. You go to church, you don't wear a hat. You go to the club, you don't wear a hat. There's a roof over your head. There's no need for a hat, so take it off.
You're really gone back to like the 50s. I like that.
Yeah,
Stick
thank you.
to the brand.
I can't do it, though. Look at the hair.
You look great.
If you had mine and Horse's lettuce, you would wear a hat indoors.
I don't have lettuce. That's the problem.
Yeah, so I would know that just for you guys.
That's what I'm talking about, Adam. You coming on the Woodscopes had pre-shows talking about what you're going to be wearing. That's how excited these people were. I had a lot of buzz. Dude, last month I had... What did I have last month? Was that Jim Morris? Was that last month?
Yeah,
you know
the
Jim
guy,
Morris?
Jim Morris from the movie The Rookie.
The Rookie. He was the 36-year, was it 36 or 26-year old guy who was a rookie, then made a Disney movie out of him. He was on the Woodscopes. I had Austin Huff on. I've had Grant Napier on, but the buzz for the Adam Hawk show. Holy shit, dude. You thought I was bringing the President of the United States in. It was great. I felt popular for a moment there, but dude, I have to thank you, man. You I can't thank you enough. And I'm not talking about just for tonight. I'm talking about everything you've ever done for me, for the Woodscopes, for the clones, for all of us. And dude, you are a scholar and a gentleman, And I'm not just talking because you're a golf guy or you're not wearing a hat inside. I love you, man. Thanks for doing this tonight. I wish you the greatest wishes of them all, your family, and I wish you a lot of success in everything you do.
Thank you. That means a lot. It really does. And I don't just say it means a lot to say it. Your friendship does mean a lot to me. And man, we do go back. I feel like I cut my teeth as you were cutting your teeth, and we were both, you were building your Woodscopes thing as I was building my chops as a producer, and it was cool. Like, we were both somewhat newish to the show, and to like making it what we wanted to make it. And so I'm stoked that you're still doing it. Some clone sent me a text message earlier today and goes, I cannot believe 12 Wood is still doing this show. And I can't either. You know what though? Longevity and repetition and rhythm, those things are not easy. And to keep doing it is great, man. I can't believe like it's 2023 and the show you started way back in the day, I'm still on today. It's awesome. And
well, thank you.
Yeah, dude, I appreciate the invite, and great to hang with Horace. And Hedstrom talked a little bit too much for me, but other than that, he was really cool in the Zoom.
Dude, likewise. Thanks for coming on.
I got a text from Nathan Beeks, as you know him. He just wanted me to. He said, "Can you take my call so I could say hi to?" No, Beeks, we're done with phones, but he wants to tell me. He wants me to tell you that he says hi.
Nathan Beeksley, what a guy. Great dude. And shout out quickly to Luis in Palmdale.
Yeah.
I regularly text him.
He's a great guy.
And I forgot to say that I stayed in contact with him. And John in Huntington Beach, I still keep in contact with him as well. Let me ask you guys this. Before we go, I don't know anything about the show right now at all. I don't know anything. Is Silk still like a thing? Is he running for count? Like, what's Silk up to?
He is. He still calls in every now. I mean, the year of the Silk is died down. We don't hear from him as much. I think he just spends his time on Twitter trolling other people who oppose his political beliefs.
What a great use of time! I should get back on Twitter.
No, Silk is a great guy. He does his current sessions on Twitter. I don't know. I don't really. I told you, man, I do the Woodscopes once a month, and I'm on Twitter maybe 20 minutes a day. So I kind of lost a lot of contact from a lot of people. I do miss.
Who's the best caller that's calling in frequently and getting people excited? I'm not talking about
James in Portland. That's his bit. Jimmy, what's up? And then his whole shtick is to think of different creative ways, analogies of Alvin having sex.
Right. So he started right as I was leaving, and he got a bid to the last Smack Up that I was a part of. And I thought his shtick was awesome. I thought his voice, look, if you're going to be a caller, just have like a really entertaining delivery. And like what you say after that matters half as much as how you sound, because you can say anything. And if you sound really good saying it, it's 10 times funnier.
Right.
If you've got the delivery, the cadence, the voice, which James does have, he can get away with like the Alvin thing. Like Rex, for example, who is probably on my Mount Rushmore favorite callers ever. It was the voice and the delivery. And I understand he wasn't for everyone, because every time we would put him on, we would get, 75% of people saying this is the best thing, and then 25% like, I cannot believe you're doing this. But
yeah,
I will go down swinging for Rex in ABQ. I love those phone calls, and I love
they don't do Rex as much as they used to. And the other thing is, like, when we did on the Woodscope, we did the award show one year, best caller, best tweeter, best single call, best smack, just non-smack off. We did all these things, and when I got to the best call of the year or whatever, I contacted Stucknut and I said, hey, give me, because he keeps tallies of like how many times one of the calls that's been hit, and I was like, give me the top 5 numbers for like top calls for the year, and he said, "Yeah, it's Rex, and then Rex, and then Rex, and then Rex, and then Rex," and it's like, okay, so I go to Jim Benton was able, when he was doing the Romageddon TV before they shut that shit down.
By the way, isn't that smart? Go and take a fan who's making your show more popular by getting it to more eyeballs and just go shut it down.
Thank you. Yes.
He's literally doing what you would pay a social media intern to do. And he's doing it for free. He's got a built-in audience. He's making the show multidimensional and getting new people to it. Like, hey, I got to listen now because this stuff happens on it. And they're like, you know what? Fuck this guy. Let's shut him down. And it's like, oh, okay.
Good call.
Decision.
No, it's the same scenario though. I go out there and I start looking at the calls for the year, and I'm like looking to see which ones has the most. It wasn't even just like, oh, Rex's calls just had like 20 more clicks than like Brad and Corona. It was Rex. I mean, people clicked on Rex. I don't know what he was doing. I don't know if like people just love poop that much.
No, it's not that. I'll tell you what it is. This is the formula that worked for Rex, and it's what works for Larry too. And I don't want to encourage Larry, but what works is, beyond a shadow of a doubt, every single person who has heard one of those calls before, from either a Rex, a Larry, a Jeff in SoCal, you 100% know this caller is getting run. And knowing that that's going to happen is the best part of the call, because you're just sitting there waiting.
Yeah,
you don't really care what he's saying. You're like,
Yeah.
I can't wait till he crosses the line. What's it gonna be?
Exactly.
So when Larry starts singing, you're just like, how many syllables is he going to get out before he gets hammered? When Rex starts talking about mahogany sliders or pinching one off at the Taco Bell, you're just like, at what point does Rome run it? And that anticipation right there is what makes those calls work.
That reminds me of the Gong Show, that show in the late 70s. My dad and I used to love that. It was a horrible act. They would hold the gong, they would hold the thing over the gong like, are they going to hit it? Are they going to hit it?
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it was
yeah,
the
yeah.
anticipation that made it so great.
My favorite was the Coiler.
Oh yeah, no, but that's the thing, is like, this is what I was hunting for on the phones every single day, was who has the capacity to like do something absolutely amazing that everyone's going to love, and who has the capacity to just run themselves into the buzzsaw over and over again.
Yeah.
And that's all it was. And
Yeah.
Rome boiled that whole concept down into give me an A or give me an F. But my God, is that the truth?
And that's what you liked about Jeff in Southfield, or Jeff in SoCal too, Mr.
Oh my
WNBA guy. Like, oh yeah, let's hear about the WNBA for a little bit. Like,
Yes.
it was
So it's not just his calls and knowing he's going to get run. It's the fact he's like kind of half screaming them in this like high pitched whiny voice, and you're just like, this dude is so lovable because his calls are so arrogant and so annoying.
yeah.
The how bombastic he was about it, like the audacity of this guy to call in and like say what he was saying. That's what you love, is like this proud arrogance of just, I know what's right even though I know it's wrong.
Yeah.
That's what I love.
I guess we still have you on. I'm going to ask you a couple other questions.
Oh, I'm sorry. I overstayed my welcome.
No, you didn't, dude. I'm like, I thought I was keeping you on too long, but he's like, hey, he's still talking. I'm gonna go. All right, dude. Favorite smack off caller?
I would say Brad and Corona.
Yep.
Because he had the capability of not just like hitting a home run, but like putting one into the parking lot. I think everyone kind of felt it when he would call, is like, this dude is kind of gifted at this on a different level.
Yeah.
Like, his phone line is the best, his voice is the best, his jokes are the best, his flow is the best. Like, this is kind of a treat. Like, it almost feels like a pro doing it. That being said, Benny and Wisco has got to be the most clever caller in the history of radio, even the Rome show. Like, he is just so funny. So I loved Benny. I loved Caleb. I loved Lef. Vic was just spicy as hell, and you got to love that, because even though he was like hit and miss. When he hit, it hit so hard.
Yeah.
So yeah, like those guys were my favorite. And to be honest, I'm in the camp of I miss Mike and Indy. I do. And boy, was he a pain in the ass to deal with, but I miss him.
Yeah, he's a great one. I mean, how many one-liners does that guy have? You better don't.
I mean, he is his own biggest fan, though, for sure.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
true.
And
he doesn't follow you, does he? Oh wait, you're not on Twitter anymore. But when you were on, he didn't follow you. You weren't one of the 5.
I was one. Yeah, I think he followed like Dave Whalen. What a great, entertaining follow that must have been. Jay Stu, Kyle Brandt, Rome, and Alvin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, Mike.
I jump in?
I know you're out there.
I
Jeff
jump
in
in?
Southfield.
Oh,
A lot of people think he's Mike, but I want to talk about his very first phone call ever. Was that the best first phone call you've ever heard?
No, not for me. For Rome, it was. I don't know what the best first phone call I ever heard was, but it certainly wasn't that. All the Happy Days references went so far over my head.
I suppose you're younger.
I'm 35. Like, I thought he was crazy and kooky and funny, but like I was literally watching Jim in tears. And so that made me laugh because I was like, I've never seen Jim so entertained by anything in my life.
Yeah.
So that was fun to watch. It wasn't fun when he asked us to replay that call like 50 times over the next 2 weeks.
I gotcha. So do you remember like a caller that shook you? Like, all right, who's this? Probably James in Portland, right?
No, because that came so late, and it was like, yeah, Alvin having sex. It's funny, but
yeah.
I'm trying to think of like someone where I was just, you know what? Honestly, the Canadians, both, and this goes so far back that I know everyone has it in their mind that Tyler and Matt suck, but they don't, and they certainly didn't when they first came on. Like they were so different and so funny. I really like Tyler and Matt's like first year and a half in the show for sure.
I wish Matt would do a podcast again, and I wish that I think Tyler's last smack off call was a top 5er in my opinion. I was laughing so hard. I don't remember what he said, but I just remember thinking this guy's going to crack the Canadians in the top 10.
Yeah.
And he didn't.
Yeah, he's I like them, and look, they got their whole image is forever tainted after Brad did what he did to them. So, I mean, the fact that they're still showing up after that, you got to give them credit, man. That's cool. I dig it. I like those guys. They probably got me the most the first time I heard them.
That's awesome. That's the thing about the JTP. We all beat up on each other. It's like a roast session all day long, every day. Not every day, but you know what I mean. There's
who messed up? Sorry, I was just thinking about it. Man, there's this kid. I forget his name. He's also Tyler in something, or Jason in, help me out here. Do you guys know what Jason?
I was going to say Fullerton, but that's Jay Stu.
No.
Jason.
This guy's like a little punk. He said something so bad we had to dump it. Something about like cutting someone's like foreskin off and feeding it to him. It was so bad we had to like dump. Yeah.
Bacon will know.
No, I got nothing. I'm sorry.
I remember the call. I don't remember the name, but I remember
like
that.
He's a little punk, and he gets like run all the time.
I'm checking the comments.
I'll think of it, and
I feel like the comments are delayed. I'm watching Twitch, and I feel like I'm reading comments from 7 minutes.
He's the guy that
Jason in Harrisburg.
Yes, Jason in Harrisburg. His first call, I think, was a bit about Robert Kraft going to a movie theater and jerking it. I can't remember what it was about, but like I was like, wow, where did this guy come from? That's awesome. Oh, that's another thing. Being on the other side of the glass and being able to hear everything that we dump is a treat. It's scary, but it is a treat.
When I was talking to Huff a few months ago, he was telling me that there are times when you guys are behind that glass laughing so hard that Jim is like probably wondering what the hell are you guys laughing at. He was telling me a story about I can't remember the name of the basketball player. He came on and he was chatting. He had an interview with Jim Rome. He was from the Minnesota Timberwolves, and he had like he sounded like he was drunk, like almost like had a speech impediment or something like that.
Oh no,
Gilchrist to Kid Gilchrist or whatever.
Sure.
And Huff said he read a tweet that said, "This guy sounds like a kid named Gilchrist" or something like that. It was just so stupid that him and Alvy were laughing for like 3 days straight. Like even now, every now and then, him and Alvy would send each other a text message that just says that. And they
Right. No, it gets loopy in there because we've all been up since 4 a.m. and working since 5, and like we're just reading joke after joke after joke, and after you've just like read them over and over, and you just get like loopy, and you start laughing with your friends, and it's a super fun experience. And then like Jim's laughing, and you're just like, oh, this is quite a sweet moment. And it doesn't happen all the time, but yeah, it's I'll tell you, like the hardest I've ever laughed in the entirety of being there. Like I had to leave the room because I couldn't stop crying. I was laughing so hard.
Right.
When Ray outed himself as a bum, and like I knew right when he said, "Yeah, I'm living on the streets," like I just looked at TweetDeck because that's how we followed Rome.
Sure.
And I just like was like 10, 9, 8, 7. And when we got down to 1, like boom, like just 7,000 tweets, each one funnier than the next. And this is like, the first time he had said it to people. And everything went because it was reaction to a phone call. It wasn't technically bum smack. And people were just lighting this dude up, and I was crying. It was so funny. And I felt like I set him up for it because I when I was screening the phone call, I said, make sure you tell Rome that you don't have a house right now, because he had told me that on the phone.
Oh, dude.
But hey, that's the job of the screener. You got to like find the good stuff and be like, don't forget to say that part.
Don't forget
I don't care what you're going to talk about, but don't forget to mention you're homeless.
I hated calling. I first time I called, it was they were talking about Woodscopes, and I just happened to have a half day of work that day, so I was off of work, and I was like, these stars are lined up right now. I have to, and I called in, and dude, I felt like I was gonna shit my pants. I was like, stomach aches like crazy, and then Wood, I'm like, oh shit, now I gotta talk. And but like the next few times I called, it was I don't know why you guys even let me on. I didn't have any content. I was just yeah, we got a show on tonight, and every time he had me on, he was trying to get me to say it's a show about your show, but I could not figure that hint out. It was just like slapping me in the face. He's like, so what's your show about, Wood? Well, it's a bunch of people get together Friday nights and we just hanging out. And he's like, yeah, but what do you guys do? What do you guys we're just it's a good time. Yeah, would you say it's a show? It's a show about a show. Our show about the Jim Rome show. Oh yeah, that too. But yeah, I freaking hated calling, but I did anyhow.
Well, nothing will be worse than my favorite guy, Pool Doc, calling in. Boy, that was
fun.
That was great.
It was one of my
Pool
favorite.
Doc was in the chat earlier, and he said that was you took his very first call. He said that in the chat earlier.
Oh yeah.
Pool
Yeah,
Doc's
we've played that. We had another side show called the Anticipated Trainwreck. We played that on there. We had Stucknut Show will play that call. I mean, they take turns once a year to make a phone call to the Jim Rome show about the smack off, the post smack. You know what, Bacon? Why don't you share the story since you're not talking very much?
Oh, so we started that out, and you actually, that was great because you allowed us to kind of pimp our little post smack off show, and I forget what happened. I think I called like the first year, and Steve said, yeah, just go ahead and call, and then I just kind of threw it out to the guys and said, look, you guys have to call as well. And then when Pool Doc called and he was all nervous, and we got all those drops from him, somebody check the blood pressure on the Pool Doc, and somebody get paper bag for the Pool Doc, and so he called, and then we got Steve to call. And what Pool Doc didn't know was that when Steve called, I was on the Zoom with him to kind of like stay with him, because he says, I want it to sound like, be like when we're on the show, like our doing our little show. And so when Steve called, I was there with him, and he was given like one word answers and whatnot. But yeah, we've all taken our turns with that. It's been fun.
Yeah.
You were definitely the best and most composed. Steve was like the biggest get, like, oh, it's stuck.
Yeah. Everybody wanted to hear Steve.
Yeah. And Pool Doc was just the most hilarious because he was like hyperventilating and just he kept saying the same thing over and over again, which was fantastic. But I got a chance to meet Mr. and Mrs. Pool Doc. They came by Nation Golf, which was cool. I've actually had a couple of clones drop by. I get to see Jim Benton on the regular, which is awesome. He lives around where we are, so it's cool that JB drops in. Shout out to that guy. Wish Romageddon TV was still up, but what are you gonna do? And hey, you know why we pimped that post Smack Off show? Because one, it was awesome, and two, like, who wouldn't want their talk show of 3 hours like living on for another 3 hours and then into the night? And like the fact that the Smack Off went from like 9 a.m. till midnight, I mean, come on, that's like every host's dream. It was so cool. Yeah, Hedstrom, you got to cut these guys off like after they're rambling on for their 5th minute during your Smack Off postgame show, dude.
Yeah, that was actually a good one because the last time that I called, I had some bullet points, and Jim just hit on like every single one of them. So I got lucky. I got really lucky with that. And the one that he said, oh, speaking of Mike and Indy, you know what you're going to get with Mike and Indy. And I said, yeah, we try to cut Mike off at about 15 minutes, but yeah, we sort of kind of let him go. And then like within the last couple of years, we've been doing the whole, okay, wrap this up. So yeah, right. We definitely had to do that because the thing is that it started out where we wanted to get people that just never called the show before, and we were getting that, but then everybody wanted to hear from the participants, so it's just a mad scramble to get everybody in there. But yeah, it's a good time. And then Wood would carry that on, like you said, to the far reaches of the evening and into the next morning, which was always really cool.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. But real quick, I'll say something that's funny. It's always funny to hear the participants on the Stucknet show afterwards, because they'll come on and they're like off this emotional come down, and like Benny will have just spent like 7 minutes on the air shredding everyone, and then it'll be like, yeah, and I think Caleb had a good call and Brad was great today and this and that. It's like on the other show you're just talking about how like you want to beat him to a bloody pulp in a water polo pool, and now you're like, yeah, no, his flow was great and everything. So it is funny to hear that for sure.
Yeah, it is so inside baseball, which is kind of cool. You get a little bit of that kind of vibe. And one of the best responses that we got was Dan in Denver. And so the way we line up the calls is they DM me, I get the number, I send it to Steve, and then Steve lines them up, right? Then of course we bump people when a participant comes in. Well, Dan in Denver gets on the line and he says, how is it that I waited on hold longer to get on this show than to actually get on for my Smack Off call?
I'm not going to lie. I heard that because I listened to your post-game show this year. And also, Dan in Denver has a ton of game. He is a sneaky good caller.
Yep. I agree. His calls the last few years have just shocked me. But Bacon, the best Stucknut call was Cal in Vegas, dude.
Yeah, Cal in Vegas.
When you guys,
if you heard it or not, so what we would do is sometimes we would set it up and Steve would just drop it and Pool Doc and I would riff on it. That's like doing stuff with these guys for like the last 10 years is just we kind of feed off of each other. And I don't know if you had heard it or not, but Cal actually called and he was pissed because he said he got a hotel room and they want me to go on the first hour and blah 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 and all this stuff, and he just starts going in and he's like F Caleb, F Left, and all this stuff, and so then Steve just heard this, and then out of nowhere Steve just goes, Cal, I haven't put you on yet, and he goes, oh, and so then we kind of make like, okay, we're setting up the call, And then we say, okay, Cal, you're on. And then Cal went right into the exact same rant. It was just hilarious.
I 100% heard that.
Yeah.
I was working for the show at the time, so I was super invested in these after shows. And I really wanted, like, because I never understood if Cal was 100% running the greatest pro wrestling bit of all time.
Right.
He was seriously that unhinged and that crazy.
Yes.
And I still don't know the answer to it. I know you guys could probably come to your own conclusion based on, what has happened with the end of his life, whatever, we don't need to get into that. But he was one of my favorites for sure. And I don't know how he compartmentalized like going on the air and being clean and then going on your show and just dropping like homophobic slur after homophobic slur, like left, right, and center. And you're like, that's hard to do. That's hard to be like that loose and cancelable, if that's a word, like all the time. And then like go on national radio and like just completely clean it up and make it feel terrible.
Like having spoken to Matt in Vancouver, who actually did meet the guy in person, that was Cal. I mean, that wasn't much of a bid, if at all.
Yeah. There was that was probably like the first big Periscope was when Matt in Vancouver and Cal in Vegas were with Nooch at the casino, and I think every clone that night was there, and it was so funny. Like those guys were ripping on Cal like crazy.
And then like someone went and played golf with him, and the pictures came out, and he was like 5'4".
4 feet. Yep.
Yeah, and Kyle's in the chat right now saying Kyle was the funniest dude he ever met.
Kyle from Green Bay?
Yes.
I love Kyle from Green Bay.
What's up, Kyle? I love Kyle. Yeah.
Kyle is he caught crap on the show, and I don't know why. He was pure entertainment. This dude drove to Minnesota, showed up to the mall, got Jim to sign his back, and then went and got it tattooed in like some basement, which is insane and awesome. And then like had a bunch of funny calls, the Drew the Jumpman Gillett, which is the most classic call of my entire tenure. And then, he was at a tailgate and said, "We got bread," as if it was something. We got bread. Hey man, come on down. We got bread. And like, he was so drop worthy. We had like 10 Kyle and Green Bay drops. Like that guy was the man.
Yep.
Oh, and he drove around he did a road trip and went and met everyone and lived out of his car.
And you guys documented it on the air while you were referencing it, and he actually referenced that in the chat as well earlier. He appreciated that. It was a good time.
Yeah. I mean, people that were doing different stuff and like going all out for the show, it would be a disservice to like not shine a light on that, because then why do it? Why get in your car and go meet these people if like it's not gonna make the air? Like it should at least get a mention,
Yeah, I know. Hoppy came over and saw you guys in Minnesota as well. Him and his Eric Hoppywood. He went by on Twitter. Yeah, he came.
I remember that.
He saw you guys. Got his photo
taken. May not have been the guy that gave me a bunch of cigars. Someone came by and brought, what do you guys call them there? Milk curd cheese?
Oh, cheese curds. Yeah, he did. Yep, that was him.
Oh my gosh. I went back to the hotel room and was like starving. I was like, I guess I'll give these things a try. Like 2 minutes later, the whole pack's gone.
For sure.
So
and they were seasoned too. I mean, that's they have some good cheese curds around here, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, shit. Any other comments out there? Horse, you're watching, aren't you?
I am, sir. You know what? There was a question back when you were talking about your favorite colors. I don't know if you want to answer this, but Ryan in Sacktown wanted to know who your least favorite color was.
Least favorite. Give me a second, because
Jim the Octopus showed up at our watch party, and I know you were pissed at him because he lied to you and they self-glossed, but that was.
Oh yeah. If I know a self-gloss is coming, it's perfect, because then Alvin and I can start to work the montage and get ahead of it. If I don't know what's coming, then like we get caught off guard and it's like, oh, damn it. Let's see. Least favorite. Ooh, I have it, but I don't think I can say it.
I was going to jump in and just say the whole controversy about the fake silk thing is, oh, Hawk got duped by fake silk. I mean,
Come on.
Come on.
I was literally on the air one day explaining the bit to people.
Right.
I was like, hey, this isn't funny if I have to explain it, but like we're all in on it. And again, we're trying to get you to the come on payoff. Like this is a payoff game, guys. That's all we're trying to do. Set up, payoff, set up, payoff. Yes, we're in on all of it. That's what makes it, it's called producing. I do have a least favorite caller, but it's going to sound mean and I don't mean it to be mean. Gosh, do I really want to go out this way? Do I want to? Everyone hate me if I say it.
Well, hey, hold on. Let me remind you about when you gave me your phone number. It was episode 5 of the Woodscopes.
Who's counting?
And, Keith Arnold was on that night, and you were in the audience.
Yeah.
And
Kiefer,
you guys said something about a clone, and had some fast regrets, and then you sent me a text saying, "Hey, can you delete that episode?" Do you remember that?
I definitely remember, asking you to delete it. I was so new to the Jim Rome show.
Right.
Keith. We were so new. And somebody texted us or DM'd us or whatever and was like, first off, you guys shouldn't even be here because like Jim doesn't like when his producers interact with clones.
Oh, geez.
Like, the fact
I know
you
you're
guys
talking about.
Yeah. Like this was a clone, like telling us like we're way out of pocket for even like interacting with you guys. And if it gets back to the head honcho, like it's bad news. And so like, we were new and we freaked out and we're like, Wood, delete that, please. Like, I don't want to lose my job over like hanging out with clones. Come to find out, none of that was true. But at the time it was a little scary. We're too new. We didn't know,
Right. Yeah.
So
Actually,
I remember. I don't remember the clone we were talking about, but I definitely remember asking you to like take the post down.
So I mean, I prefaced you bringing up the worst caller with that story just in case you didn't want to have any regrets. But it's not like you work for anyone anymore, so you might as well just say it.
Yeah.
We never really talked about like interviews and stuff, but actually, is there any sort of inside baseball on that whole Dana White thing when that William Onyebar song came on, that Fantastic Man started playing, like he got cut off and all of a sudden that song started playing?
Yeah, so that was definitely on his end. Whatever like conference call thing connected Dana in like glitched out and put him on hold, but didn't put him on hold. So the hold music started playing while he was still on.
Yeah.
And everyone was baffled by it. And these are the kind of moments that give a board op a heart attack because they're thinking like they're playing something on YouTube with the wrong pot up. Pot is like the level stuff for all the stuff they're playing. So yeah, he was just like, Alvin was freaking out. And then we realized like this isn't our fault, so let's just make a joke about it. And I think Jim had asked Dana at the time kind of a hard pressing question, and then for that to come up, it was just so coincidental and funny that we decided to make it into a thing.
Yeah, because it was almost like he bailed because of the question. I'm just gonna here's my ringtone.
Right. Yeah,
I don't know what you're talking. What happened? I don't remember this.
It's so nuanced and weird and hard to explain. Jim asked Dana White a question. It was kind of a tough question. And all of a sudden this music started playing Fantastic Man. And like Jim thought Dana might have just dipped on the interview because like, hey, screw this. But Dana was still there and Jim made a joke like, oh, I thought you didn't like the question. And Dan's like, no, whatever. And we just thought it was funny. I mean, it's one of these bits where you're explaining it out loud. It doesn't sound half as funny as it was when it happened.
It's just one of those organic things that happens, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Adam, I have a question, and you don't have to answer this, but how many fabricated colors were there?
Like, define a fabricated caller. Someone that was just like, faking being someone else?
No, I'm saying there's like a lot of rumors out there that like Jay Stu was Carl and Rosemead.
Sure.
Yeah, anything like that? You don't
I'll
have
say
to.
this. No. I'll say this, and this is the best I can do on that. What happened before my time happened before my time, and you guys are probably, barking up a tree that's could be correct. I don't know. You have to ask those people, but none of that ever happened when I was around, and it wasn't because we weren't open to doing it. It just didn't happen.
Yeah.
But again, remember, guys and girls, it's all entertainment. We're here to entertain.
Sure.
Like WWE, the E stands for entertainment, and the whole thing is fake.
Yeah.
But people still watch it because it's entertaining. Just like everything you watch on television was scripted. It's all entertainment. And if you're entertained at the end of the day, who gives a hell?
Yep. I had a guy call me up one time and he said, "Hey, I have a tequila company, and I want to donate a bottle to the Woodscopes if you promote it." So sure enough, I took the bottle. Is La Gratona. If you ever want to try it out, it's a great tequila. So I opened the bottle up on the Woodscopes, poured a shot, took a shot, poured a shot, took a shot, and then after the third one, I cut myself off. But the guys behind, like the glass, so to speak, were filling up bottles of or shot glasses of water, and handed it to me. And I took like 10 more shots of water, and everyone on the show was like, everyone in the audience is like, "Dude, you gotta quit, man. You're gonna freaking puke. You're gonna die." And we went on with it. It was kind of funny, but yeah.
No, that's a great bit, and I commend you for doing it. You got to commit to the bit and go all in. That's entertainment. God bless you for it.
Oh, thank you, man.
All right. Should I get out of your hair? I feel like I've really overstayed my welcome.
Well, the show's only 4 minutes longer, so I don't think we're gonna get to any of those. Hey, wait. You're gonna play this game with me, Hawk.
Okay.
Can you guess this nursery rhyme? We gotta see if Horse is even ready.
I gotta effort that. I didn't think we were gonna go to any of this stuff.
I'm sorry, I kind of threw you in the spot.
Listen, I got it. Hold up.
By the way, Hawk, you look great. You look very good, by the way.
Thank you. You do too. Boy, something about that is so eerily familiar, but I can't place it. It's not.
I'm trying to read the comments, but I think they're delayed on Twitch. I feel like they're 5 minutes behind.
I don't see any guesses yet.
Do you know what it is, Horse? Did I tell you?
No, you didn't. I don't know what this is.
Bacon, any guesses?
I don't know. It sounds like Breaking Bad to me, but I don't know.
Ryan guessed wheels on a bus. On the bus.
Wheels on the... I'll tell you this, Bacon. You are very, very close.
Jim and Kyle just said that. Yeah.
It's Better Call Saul.
Better Call Saul.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, you know what? Wood, your brother got it in the chat.
Did he? Okay. He wins the Stuck Nut T-shirt. That will be there in 45 years.
Yeah, Pool Doc is responsible for distribution, so I will hit up Pool Doc and get your brother his.
Thank you.
Stuck Nut T-shirt.
Let's just freaking end the show and save all that other content for the next episode, whenever that might be.
I agree.
Beauty.
Yep.
Beauty.
It was beautiful,
dude.
Show.
I'm gonna let Adam Hawk lead us out of this shit.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out for 2 hours. Hopefully it didn't get too in the weeds or boring. I wish I could have read the comments to interact with more of you, but good to hang out with Horace, Wood, and Bacon. What a pleasure to be back in the adjacent jungle, which is my favorite jungle. So thanks for having me, Wood. I appreciate it.
Dude, thanks for doing this, man. If I kiss your butt anymore, the people are gonna think that you paid me to do it. But seriously, I owe you a world of thanks, man. And I'm still doing this bullshit, and it's because it's fun. But putting it on the map was all. I mean, I know Jim had to give you the thumbs up, but dude, it was all you. You kept in contact with me, like, what are you doing here? What are you doing there? And you, like I said, you were very involved with a lot of the clones. You nailed it. Everything you said, you nailed it. The Romageddon TV, the just everything, dude.
Thanks,
thank you.
Hawk. Thanks for everything you did, and just giving us a voice. That's the one thing, is just giving the clones a voice. You really did, and made us feel really a part of the show. So really appreciate that. Thank you, and thank you for doing this tonight.
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
You boys are the best. Thank you. Mutual Adoration Society. I hope you guys have a killer Friday night and weekend. And man, was it good to be back with you guys.
Likewise, we're gonna do it again. You know that. I'm gonna hit you up in 12 months or maybe smack off time. I don't know. We'll talk again. We'll talk again, dude.
You got it.
All right, you guys, we are killing the show. Thank you everyone for showing up. Haunted Horse, very good job tonight with the graphics. Bacon, I'm sorry you didn't get a chance to do very many sound drops, but
nah.
And thank you for being a part of this, guys. And Adam Hawk, love you, man. Be well, your family, everyone. God bless you.
See you, boys.
And with that said, we are out.